resource, and a resource that you are paying for. So, and they are incredible databases, incredible amounts of information, and we are doing this for business people throughout our system. In addition to that, you can learn languages. There's Mango Languages with, I think, 63 languages on it. We have ebooks online, over 20,000 ebooks. If you have a library card, you can take any of your e-readers, any of your devices, your iPhones, your Kindles, your Nooks, your iPads, and you can download ebooks from our website. You just have to come in and get a library card. Once you get the library card, you're good to go. And in addition to that, I always like to do this in case there are parents or grandparents. There is not one of us who has been a parent of a child in California who has not been stuck the night before a mission report is due with your child sobbing in front of us and saying, I completely forgot, I have to have that model done tomorrow. I have 3 children, and they are adults now, and thank God, but I have been through this, and finding a model of admission in California on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock turns out to be harder than most people would think. We now have, for all of you, mission books. Each of these is on one of the missions in California with the complete plans for the buildings, so that you can do this with your sobbing child late at night. We have thousands and thousands of videos streaming videos online now, from documentaries to all types of learning materials. And you can search many of them for clips. So if you're doing a report or you're doing a presentation and you want to use a piece of a video, you can go in and search for what you're looking for, and it will direct you to those clips. I want to talk just a little about some of the special things that have gone on in Fort Hueneme this year. We brought Overdrive. That's the company that does much of the streaming things that you're seeing here today. And by the way, we have millions and millions of pieces of music to stream. You can access through the website, and you can download 5 of those a week and keep them. They're yours permanently. They're not something that you're borrowing or just listening to. You can actually own those pieces of music. The CFO for the county has become our biggest supporter on this. The other day he told me that he is collecting psychedelic furs and Henry Mancini. And I looked at him and said, you know, Paul, there's something not quite right about it. Anyway, so they came out and worked with the community, helping them learn how to hook up their devices and those kind of things. These are the types of things that we're trying to do, get people more connected to what's happening and going on. In addition, we hosted an incredibly important literacy fair here. In addition to telling you the resources we have in the library, I want you to leave today knowing this. 25% of native-speaking, English-speaking people, so non-English is a second language, people who were born speaking English, 25% of those in Ventura County read below a reading level that would allow them to adequately fill out a job application. And whether you know it or not, if you are employing people, some of those people probably have a reading problem, and some of those reading problems are affecting your business. I use the example all the time of the farm worker in Nebraska who thought that he was feeding cattle feed because it looked like the bag that he always used, and he couldn't read, and he poisoned hundreds of thousands of cattle and destroyed a business. Not being able to read affects people's ability to work. It affects their ability to get adequate jobs. It affects their ability to pay taxes and support our library. It's really important that we connect those people, and oftentimes they won't tell their employers because they're afraid they'll lose their job. One of the best things that you can do to help us is try to identify those people. We have a literacy program that employs 2 people and then uses an army of volunteers. We teach about 200 people a year in Ventura County how to read, and they do it for free, and it's mostly retired volunteers or people who are just really passionate about it, work one-on-one with people every day of the week in one of our libraries. So if you can identify and help those people get somewhere, we can help you have better employees, and we can help people have better lives. You're really lucky here in Fort Hueneme because you have Murray Rosenblum. Murray was here, I think you would laugh that I was saying that, but that's okay. Murray remains to this day the only public official I have ever actually hung up on in the middle of a conversation. But he's also one of the guys that I most enjoy going out to lunch with. But Murray, in the name of his of his wife, has dedicated himself to the Rosa Blue Home Center here at the Fort Hueneme Library. And that is a resource for kids to go to after school, where we have dedicated staff who give them their homework, who give them a place to go after school where they can do constructive things. It also works with one paid staff person and an army of volunteers, many of them out of Channel Islands University. I can't say enough for what Murray's done for that library and his support for it. He's just been a gem. And I don't want to miss this opportunity to also point out that nothing that we do would be possible without the friends of the library. And in Fort Hueneme, we are really, really lucky to have an incredibly devoted group of people who are really passionate and imaginative and who make an awful lot of what we do possible. And on your table, there are brochures that show you a way that you can help easily support them. And I would be deeply grateful if you would. We have story times, and this is a story time out of your Fort Hueneme branch. And I want to talk really briefly, and I know my time is short, but I want to hit the things that I think really matter to a community. Kids that don't read over the summer lose up to and usually about 3 months of the reading skills they've learned during the year in their elementary school years. That means that if the kid's not reading over the summer, when they go back to school in the fall, they're 3 months behind the kids that read that summer. And that is cumulative over the first 6 years of school. So if a kid's not reading in that whole elementary school through 6th grade, by the time they hit 6th grade, they're 18 months behind their classmates. And study after study has shown they don't regain that ground. That stays with them right through college, right into their work life. It is so essential and so easy for kids to read over the summer. So when we do the summer reading program, people think it's just kind of a feel-good thing. It's not a feel-good thing. It's a keep kids connected to books in a fun way that rewards them for reading and doesn't make them understand that we're just continuing to work at their schools during the year. And if you know kids, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, if you know kids in your neighborhood and you're not seeing them read in the summer, get them connected to the summer reading program. They get cool prizes, there's cool programs going on, and underneath it all is kids who can read and get to college and have a better skill set. Last year, our children's department set themselves a goal to increase by 30% the number of hours read by kids, and they actually exceeded themselves, and they've set themselves a goal of another 15% increase this year. We're using technology in every way we can. We just came through the worst recession of our lifetime, or coming through it, and we are just about the only library in Southern California that didn't cut hours and didn't cut services, and we were not a well-off library when we started out. We have used technology in every way that we know how to streamline services. Every time you use a self-check, you're freeing our staff up to do other cool things. You're freeing us up to keep our hours going, even though our 80% of our funding is from property tax, and it declined over the last few years, and we kept the hours and we kept the services. And we have done that by using technology in as imaginative ways as we can. One of the things that we're going to start doing this year is we're going to start Skyping our story times from one branch to another. We almost always have a story time going at one branch or another. We put flat screen TVs in each of our branches. We can run those story times all the time. And we can run them on our website, and we can run them on your local access television stations. We just had that little conversation, and I hope that works through. These are the kind of things that we can do, so if a parent can't make it into a library, or, you know, it's a better option than many of your television options. And our children's librarians are really dedicated to early childhood literacy, so a very fun story time is going to have 4 to 6 elements of early childhood literacy in it that a kid is never going to notice has happened. We are doing stuff all over the place. When you talked about Fort Hueneme being a technological startup place, we have really engaged in this in our communities. We have started engaging, and have been over the last year, really engaging with the maker community to get involved in technology, to get involved with small entrepreneurs. Last year, similarly to the grants that your mayor was talking about, we had a little bit of money left at the end of last year, and it was Friday. I don't know what I was, a little bit bored maybe, and I sent an email out to staff and said, we'll give any person on the staff up to $2,000 to do anything we've never tried doing before. And it was amazing. It turned turns out that when I'm really tired on Friday afternoons are probably the only time I have really good ideas or something. But we saw stuff out of staff that we have never seen. We had ideas flying, and every single one of them seemed to cost exactly $2,000. That was really fascinating. Nobody had $500 project. Everybody's project was $2,000. Two of our staff got trained in using maker spaces, and in the process of getting trained, they won a 3D printer at a conference that they went to about it. So we now have a 3D printer at our Foster Library. As we create spaces at our other libraries, we want to be doing this everywhere. You can see down in the corner, every week at the Foster Library, there's a makers event. It might be working with our local, working with the local public access television. It might be working with a 3D printer. It's entrepreneurs getting together. It's people who make apps for iPhones and iPads talking to each other about what they're doing. It's just all sorts of community engagement. We did a tech fest out at Oak Park in which Northrop Grumman, General Motors, a maker of drones, many tech people came out and met directly with high school students and engaged them in what they were doing. Women in Science met with any young woman who was interested in a STEM career. We can move this program. It can appear anywhere. We guys have a big parking lot because we had county fire and police vehicles, all sorts of high-tech stuff. You can see there's some themes running through about where we're touching with people. Community-led development is in keeping with that vision statement. We're trying to get out